Okay, yes, it's been a while since I've done a face cam video, and yes, it's been a while since I've done a tier list video. So, today, we're gonna go down the line, rate every weapon. I don't think any weapon is, like, clearly super bad, I'll just say that right now. I do think there are some that stand out compared to others, but we're gonna start with Axe, we're gonna end with Greatsword, and yeah, I'll just give my takes on where they land. So first, we have Axe. Now, Axe is a weapon that, for me personally, I hate the weapon. I gotta be honest. Probably one of my least favorite weapons in the game. Never been a huge fan of playing it, but Sidelight Nair is great damage. You can follow up off that Nair with D-Light. You can do Ground Pound. There's a lot of different options that are easy to follow up with and get potential reads there. Sidelight Sair, great kill combo. It is situational, sort of, but even then, I think that it lands it in an A+ area. It is slower, so that is why it's not going to be an S tier weapon. I think anything that's fast right now, and you'll probably see that as we go on, that's what's going to make it better. But yeah, Axe, it has some fast options. It has good kill power. It can be exploitable, but at the same time, I think the easiness of it is kind of that offset. So it's right in the middle of the pack. Now, blasters, I don't even think we really see them played too much. I mean, you have Boomy, you have Cody really being the only person who's that dedicated to blasters. Other than that, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone, but I think blasters are an A+. I don't think there's really going to be any argument with that. Blasters are great at spacing. Dare you can just fly around with. I mean, Sidelight you can fly around with. They space extremely well. The damage is actually pretty ridiculous, and some of like the strings and combos you get, they do a lot, and they're a pretty good like flowchart. Now, I will say that given the fact that it has dead zones, that's going to make blasters, obviously, they're going to lose to certain weapons. They're going to lose to gauntlets. They're going to lose to guitars. Bow can give it trouble. Just anything that can get inside is going to give blasters a really hard time. So that's why they're in A+. Now, this weapon, I think for a while, I think this is one of the best made weapons in the game. I think it has just insane flow overall. Bow's going to be the first S tier weapon. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Nair alone can carry this weapon. I mean, the D-Light combos, what you can do off Sidelight, just everything flows so well. It does decent damage. The kill power can be 50-50, but a lot of the bow characters have SIGs to make up for that. Off stage with it also is just ridiculous. And yeah, bow is just overall extremely solid. There's no glaring weak spots of it. So Cannon recently got a buff. It got a buff to Sidelight, and it got a buff to Nair, actually. I didn't even know that. But it did get recovery nerfed, which honestly does nothing. So I think Cannon is one, and this could be argued, I guess. I'm not the biggest Cannon player in the world, although I do enjoy playing. Lately, I've been playing Zul. I think Zul's pretty crazy. But I think Cannon just lands in A+. I mean, that buff to Sidelight was really important. Before, I probably would have put Cannon A, because now, what you couldn't do before the patch was you couldn't continue off Sidelight really well. You could get like a Nair maybe, but now you can do, you know, Sidelight Dare. You can get that Sidelight Sair again. You can go for the Sidelight Nair. There's so many options you can do with it. And now Nair kills earlier, which is just a big benefit as well. Okay, now I'm probably going to spend the most time talking about Gauntlets. Gauntlets to me, I mean, I'll just put them there now. They're an S tier weapon. They did nerf the 3-piece combo, the D-Light Nair into Recovery or Dare. They nerfed Recovery. The hitboxing towards the bottom is less, which makes like D-Light Recovery on the ground. You can't just dash jump into it, or I think you might be able to, but it's really, really hard. So now getting kills with Gauntlets, I guess, is a little harder, and they do kill, I guess, a little, I don't want to say a little later, but you know what I mean. That Nair does a little less damage, so it's going to be a little harder to get that kill. But yeah, Gauntlets, I mean, overall, Gauntlets are so good. You're able to move around. I mean, you can get inside a lot of weapons. They beat out all the slower weapons 99% of the time. Gauntlet D-Light, at least for me, I've recently learned just how scary this move is. I know people have been saying that thing's a freak for so long. And yeah, you throw that thing out, people are going to have to respect you. The damage you get off reads is still ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. The 3-piece probably will disappear at some point. I'm not going to be surprised if it just vanishes one day. But either way, I think that leaves Gauntlets in an S tier position. I think at worst, they'd get bumped down to A+, even with that D-Light Nair combo removed. Okay, so I adjusted my tier list a little bit because this next weapon, good old Hammer, I don't think it belongs in S tier necessarily, but I do think it should be above the A+ category. So Hammer's going to be an S-. I think Hammer, I mean, it got the damage. It's got some really fast moves. I mean, Stomp's ridiculous. Enlight is extremely quick. Nair is just a creature. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about Hammer. I've never been a huge Hammer player, but the potential is there. There's a lot of good Hammer characters right now. I mean, I think every single Hammer character, maybe you could say, aside from Yumiko, it's disgusting. So try out Hammer. Hammer's insane. Okay, so next we have Katars, and I think you guys may disagree with this one. If anyone you're going to disagree with, I feel like it may be the Katars. I'm going to put them in S-. I think Katars are really good right now. They've gotten a lot of buffs over the course of time, at least recently. At first, it was like the D-Light setup and like D-Light inconsistencies, trying to fix that, right? Well, I don't know how much that did, but then more recently, they gave Sidelight Dash Impulse back, so now Sidelight travel distance is way higher than what it was like last year, at least most of the year. And then also, Sair on Katars, I think it's got to be in the best state it's ever been in. I mean, I can't think of a time when Katars Sair was any better than this, aside from when it had like an insane spiking hitbox. But anyways, yeah, Katars, I mean, they're pretty easy to use. Nair's great. The killing of them can be iffy, but I think that they're a pretty streamlined weapon. Like, the reads are there, right? You don't have a ton of options. You know what you have to go for, and it's rewarding if you can get it, if you can learn it, and they're pretty solid, yeah. Probably overall the most hated weapon in Brawlhalla, we're going to be putting Lance in A+. Now, Lance, I think, is really, really good. Recently, they gave it a buff and kind of a nerf. They nerfed Nair, so now Nair does not hit grounded at all. However, you can drift it more, which makes it a little better. I think the big buff, though, was the fact that they changed Dare. So now, at like 70 health on certain maps, I believe it's Brawlhaven and I believe Apocalypse, if you hit Sidelight, Dare, Sair, it's all true, and it can kill at like 70 health. It's pretty specific, but I'm not going to be surprised if we see Lance mains doing that in like tournament and getting some clips with that, because that's a pretty big thing to do. Killing at 70 health, I mean, no other weapon can really do that unless it's like a prime cannon or like, I don't know, gauntlets, maybe bow if you catch an edge guard. But yeah, it's a 3-hit combo. That's really insane. So Orb doesn't really get talked about much, and I don't know why. Orb's an insane weapon. A lot of people talk about it, but they never really play it. So Orb to me is an easy S. I mean, I can't really think of a reason to put it any lower. Sair's insane. You have so many different routes. Everything flows so well together. I was talking about that with Bow. Orb is like that, I think, even better. I'll put it there now. I'll rearrange everything at the end. But yeah, Orb, possibly the best weapon in the game right now. It's got the true combos. It's got insane strings. There's just so many different routes you can take. The bouncing like off the wall and on the stage is a really cool feature. And I think just the design of it carries it so hard. And what I mean by that is that every move on the kit has a purpose, and it does it very, very well. Man, so Scythe, a lot of people are going to say that Scythe is pretty hard to play. However, I do agree with that. I think that the reward, though, is so incredibly good that it's got to go at least an S-. I mean, Scythe, if you play it right and with the options that it has, you're going to be getting Gimps really, really early. You're going to be able to play the offstage. It has the best offstage in the game. I don't even think that's really much of an argument, although, like I said, it's not necessarily the easiest offstage weapon to play. Once you learn it, though, it's going to be the best by far. Another big thing with Scythe is that it's really easy to just fly around and like Dare and Nair, kind of just throw out zero risk moves. And I think given the fact that you can throw out moves with zero risk most of the time, that's why it's going to be in an S tier. Spear to me, honestly, is an easy S. Now Spear is super easy. The damage you can rack up is insane. I'm pretty sure at most, if you hit a sidelight, they dodge into another sidelight, you're gonna have that double D-Light Sair, and in total, I'm pretty sure that's 70 damage alone, and that's just like, that's irrefutable evidence of how good it is to me. Now, you're not gonna be getting that every time, I know that, but still, Nair basically plays the game for you. It's its own weapon. Recovery, ground pound are pretty good as well. They cover a big area, although they are kind of slow. And then Enlight is insane. There's just so many options for such a simple weapon, and it's not hard to make those options work and get a lot of damage really, really fast. Now we're down to the final two, leaving us with the swords. Now, the swords, regular sword, I gotta say, probably S-. I mean, nothing's really changed about it, but it is a good weapon. It kind of does everything. It is that middle ground weapon. It can rack up the damage. It can get kills relatively early, but it's not doing anything like exceedingly well. It's got a lot of good moves. I mean, I think Sidelight, Dare, Nair, all that stuff's good. Recovery is really, really good. but it's not absurd. There's nothing I can think of on sword that is just outright nuts to me, or like that it just does better than other weapons. So sword, I think, is a comfortable S-. Lastly, we're left with a nerfed greatsword. Now, greatsword, this one, I think a lot of you are going to be surprised. No one's playing this weapon, and it's really odd because on hit, this weapon is practically the same as it was before the patch. However, you can't just monkey out, you know, and just try and like poke everyone everywhere with sidelight and get away with it. You're actually going to get punished, or at least more than likely you are. But the thing is, nobody knows how to play against it. They didn't know how to play against it before the patch, and they don't know how to play against it now. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sandstorm play this weapon in Winters again and wins it. I think this weapon is going to top 3 in Winters and win in at least one region. Mark my words. I guarantee that it's going to top 3 for sure. So I'm not going to put it in S, but I will say it's going to be an S- because nobody knows how to play against it, and that plays such a big part into it. And also, you're still going to be able to get super early kills because the finishers are just not nerfed at all. They still have the same force, and then the aerials as well are really, really good. My final remarks on my tier list, honestly, yeah, I really like how it ended up. I mean, everything's super close right now. Nothing stands out a lot. You'll probably see some nerfs here and there on some of the S tier weapons down the line. I would not be surprised at all if we see nerfs for them. But other than that, I think all these weapons are probably going to stay in the same spot that they're in with maybe minor tweaks. But it is my opinion at the end of the day. So in reality, does this matter that much? No, it does not. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.